Good evening, you're watching Estuary News. Coming up, we find out why these youngsters are counting the pennies. We visit Sunk Island to find out why one farmer is taking on the mobile phone companies. And we meet George, the mechanical horse who's helping less able-bodied riders. Welcome to Estuary News. I'm Emma Lingard, but first it's over to Dan Kemp for the news headlines.
Hello there. £45 million worth of flood defence works will be carried out on and around the River Hull. The work will take place over the next 5 years and will include making more use of Hull's tidal barrier, removing around 20 sunken vessels that obstruct the flow of water and raising the banks at low points such as the Holderness and Barmston drains. The package of works has been agreed by the River Hull Advisory Board, which includes both East Riding and Hull City Councils. The 2017 UK City of Culture is booking the national trend for visitors. The latest Great Britain Day Visitor Survey for 2014, commissioned by the 4 national tourist boards, showed 5.06 million tourists visited Hull in 2014, up 14% compared to the previous year. At the same time, day visitor expenditure in the city rose 13% to 158 million in 2014. Imingham's new swimming pool is set for an August opening. The £1.45 million transformation of the facility will see a revamped pool, improved changing facilities and an extended fitness suite. And staying with new facilities in North East Lincolnshire, an independent study into the build of a community stadium for Grimsby Town has been signed off by the North East Lincolnshire Council. Members agreed that a more detailed study should now be carried out, including a survey of the best sites. Industries are being encouraged to get involved in the environment. An event at Birkinshaw's Cover on the site of the Lindsay Oil Refinery yesterday involved industrialists and school children with the aim of learning about the environment and how to protect it. Alan Jones from the Humber Nature Partnership spoke about the importance of getting companies such as Able UK involved.
And I think without Humber Inca as it was and the Nature Partnership now, companies do want to, first of all, they want to be on good terms with local people, they want to involve local people, make local people part of what they're doing. But also they do, like all of us, think the environment is an important part of things.
That's all for me for now. If you've got any news for us, don't hesitate to contact by calling 01472 31553, emailing news@estuary.tv or by searching for us on Facebook or Twitter @EstuaryTV. Bye for now.
A primary school in North Lincolnshire is helping with the charity fundraiser for victims of leukemia and lymphoma. The opportunity is not only good for raising money, but is a great learning exercise in finance for the children as well, as Richard Morris found out.
Burton upon Stather Primary School near Flixborough is using money skills and education to not only teach children about money, but raise it for a good cause too. A former pupil of the school passed away due to blood cancer, and now the school supports fundraising with the Leukemia and Lymphoma Research Winterton and District branch.
Well, we started the charity a few years ago now when we lost one of my close friends of leukemia, so we set up the branch and decided to start fundraising, and it's just snowballed from there really. James actually came to this school, so we've raised a lot of money in his memory, and Burton always support our charity for that reason, because he came here really.
It had been done a few years ago, and Julie in the office, we support the charity through various different things, and she suggested the Mile of Pennies, and I had thought we could turn it into a bit of a learning project. So we've been doing lessons on money and measures obviously linked to it, and then we're going to count up the money hopefully at the end. The children have been learning how to teach the younger ones about the different coins while they've been laying them out and things, so it's worked really well for the teaching.
Last year they raised a lot of money, and this year they're hoping to raise even more. One student has raised £55 just from doing their own bake sale.
I think it raised about £300 last year. Hopefully we can beat that this year. But the school loves supporting this charity, obviously, with James having come to the school, so the kids are all really involved in it.
You're watching Estuary News. Still to come, we ask you, following the budget, what would you spend government money on? And we visit Sunk Island to find out why one farmer is taking on the mobile phone companies. And we get ready for the start of the Lincolnshire Festival of Archaeology. And Dan Kemp will bring you the latest local sports. You're watching Estuary News. I'm Emma Lingard. Less able riders at Wheelsby Riding School will now be able to simulate faster and more complicated horse riding techniques thanks to a new mechanical horse. It's called George and he's already been quite a hit with the Riding for the Disabled Association members. Richard Morris took to the saddle.
A new mechanical horse simulator at Wheelsby Riding School in Grimsby is hoping to allow less able riders to experience a faster and more exciting ride. Many of the group cannot ride a horse when it gets to above a canter, so the new equipment means that they can really try new techniques. Carol Scott is an instructor with the Riding for the Disabled Association. She explained the advantages of George the horse.
Well, George has had quite an impact really. We've been very excited to have George. We haven't had the full use of him yet because we've only just got him up and going properly. But all our riders have had a go and all our helpers and some of the parents of the helpers as well. We've had a really fun day with him. And some of our riders who only walk, they've been on him, they've had the sensation of the trot movement and also the canter, which they'll never achieve on a real horse.
George is a very high-tech piece of kit, allowing for many different movements using an array of sensors.
He's got a sensor at the front and that makes him go forward if you squeeze with your lower leg. And they've got sensors at the back on each side and that allows for a leg yield or to change the leg like a flying change in a canter. And the sensors are in the mouth as well where the bit and the reins are. And so you can pull on the reins and he will slow down.
And the volunteer helpers are thrilled with the new equipment.
Well, it's just a wonderful opportunity for the group to be able to use something like this because some riders, disabled riders, will find an actual living horse difficult, whereas they may feel more secure and safer on something like this. And it looks fun, a bit like you'd get on a rocking horse, I suppose. It doesn't put you off.
Earlier in the week, we heard the Chancellor, George Osborne, deliver his summer budget. We visited Grimsby to ask you, if you were in the government, what would you spend the money on?
They need to spend a bit more on defence because we're getting involved with like Russia and stuff, and spending less on defence is a bit silly.
To spend more money, they should stop giving the MPs so much free rein with the taxpayers' money.
Like the NHS, because the NHS is like really bad.
Education and national health, honestly.
Opportunities for young children getting into work, apprenticeships, education, NHS.
Of course, the national health, I think that's always been a really good thing, although I was born after it came in. But yeah, I do think so, because I think we're maybe the envy of the world because we've got that.
Across the country, towns and villages are preparing for In Bloom judges to descend in their droves. And it's a hot contest as they compete for Britain in Bloom and East Midlands in Bloom titles. I went to Immingham to watch some of the build-up. The sun is shining and the flowers are blooming just in time as judging prepares to take place across the area for In Bloom 2015. In Immingham, 3 times gold winner, they were having their community judging, undertaken by a neighbouring In Bloom committee.
Working towards the East Midlands in Bloom judging, which is in a fortnight's time, but we also hold a local competition, and that's to try and get the community and the residents involved in what we're doing throughout the town. And so today we've got independent judges in the town today, and we've got something in the region of 19 to 20 applicants to put in for the competition itself.
For the last 6 years, Coombriggs Primary School has taken part. Each year they do something different and it adds to the children's education.
Well, children use the gardens on a daily basis. Outside education, environmental education has always been important, but we also have lunchtime gardening clubs, after school gardening clubs, and on a Friday afternoon it is part of the curriculum.
And while it's all blooming marvellous, there's no certainty of who will win the gardening crown.
You're always aiming for that gold award again, and we've been fortunate with the projects that we've done and the themes that we've taken on each year. We've changed things around each year to try and give the judges a different sort of theme for them to see when they come here. So, 3 golds on the trot, and we're hoping for a 4th this year. And some of the things that we've planned this year, I'm sure, are going to impress the judges again.
This year sees the return of the popular Lincolnshire Wolds Festival of Archaeology, where people are being encouraged to learn more about their local heritage and the overall history of the Wolds. Dave Nunn went digging about to find out more.
This year sees the return of an event encouraging people to dig deep and discover local archaeology. The Lincolnshire Wolds Archaeology Festival, which is in its 2nd year, runs alongside a national event.
We do the Archaeology Festival in line with the national one that takes place from July the 11th to the 27th. This year we've got Kevin Leahy launching our festival at Spilsby Franklin Hall 2 p.m, talking about prehistory in Lincolnshire, and then from then on we've got all sorts of events going on across the Lincolnshire Wolds to highlight the interesting archaeology that we've got here.
Sam says that since working on the project, people have learnt a lot about Lincolnshire's heritage, and they're continuing to educate people about the historical significance of Lincolnshire, which many people are unaware of, is a key aim of the festival.
Well, the Down Your World project's been going for 2 years now, and we've been working with community groups to help research their local area. So the people that we've been involved with are really starting to understand about where they live and how the settlements have come about. But still there's a lot more to be discovered, and we hope that the festival will help raise awareness with that.
Just a short walk away from the Roman camp there's a rare chalk stream. Richard Dawson, who teaches kids about the outdoors, brings kids to the rarely seen stream near the old Roman road. He says it's important to teach kids about the outside in the digital age.
It puts a whole different perspective on learning. Children in the classroom now are very, very kind of focused on data and passing exams, and what we're able to do is just enrich their learning here so that it makes, as I said, learning live.
He also says it's nice to see parents bringing their kids to the events that will take place in the Archaeology Festival, and that's vital to getting kids to appreciate the outdoors and off their computers.
I think it's great that parents are working alongside their children, because in this world of computers and games machines, I think children sometimes, their activities are very insular, and for them to be able to share with their parents and their friends and their family, it's just a great thing.
Joining me now to look at what's been happening in the news is Erica Barker. Erica, what have we found?
Well, we'll start off then. Plans have been agreed to spend $45 million on managing flood risk along the River Hull. So this is the River Hull Advisory Board have agreed to a joint strategy with Hull and the East Riding, so they can take more responsibility, really.
Okay, so I mean, we did hear that in the bulletin, didn't we, that some of the measures involve removing boats. Was there 20 boats that are in the river that have got to take out?
Yes. Yes, yeah, 20
just been
is the
abandoned.
Figure. Yeah, 20. Another thing they want to do as well is connect the waterfronts in Hull, Beverley and Driffield.
Okay.
So looking at how they can be linked in some way. And of course it is about improving flood defences, that is the big one.
I think that's it, that once you look after your rivers and your dikes and clean them, it allows, doesn't it, for that flow of water, because we all know that living along the coastline that we're all in danger, aren't we?
No, definitely, it's vital.
It's interesting about linking, though, Beverley, Driffield and Hull. I mean, are they hoping to create, I don't know, nice waterways that you can go down on your boat and stop off for a drink? How's it going to work?
Isn't it? There's not a great deal of detail about it at the minute, so we'll have to wait and see. I think they've got it's over the next 5 years that this $45 million is to be spent. So quite a bit of work to do, I think.
We'll have to send you out to find out about that one, won't you? Get your boat out, Erica.
I wouldn't mind that, getting on a boat going down the river.
Yeah, that's it, and your little dinghy.
No, when we had to get lost, I wouldn't come back. Okay, I'm going to move on then.
Get lost on the River Hull? Surely you can't get lost on there. Maybe Erica can.
Maybe I can. So more people are visiting Hull and spending money in Hull.
Okay.
So the spending has increased by 13%. Visitors have increased by 14%. Now these are figures for 2014, and these figures are compared to 2013, so last year's figures. But it's great news, and I think that will only continue for City of Culture 2017, so they're very optimistic.
That is good though, isn't it? That they're seeing
Brilliant.
that increase already.
Yeah.
But I always say, I think Hull does have a lot to offer, doesn't it, in terms of
Definitely.
shopping and entertainment. I'm going to be lynched by the South Bank mob for saying that, but I do.
Yeah, no,
I think Hull has a lot to offer, and you can see how it's improved.
Yeah.
As well.
And it's great that people are realising that, aren't they? And I mean, it is great that they're put on that kind of pedestal with the City of Culture 2017. And I think that must have had a big impact on attracting visitors, because the increase is higher than the national average in other places.
That is good,
so
definitely.
It is definitely good news
Again,
for Hull.
you know, I suppose really when you think about it, 2017 is not that far away now. We're halfway through the year, aren't we?
I know.
Which is quite scary.
That's gone really fast. Where
Has,
has that gone?
Yeah, so that's it. Before we know it, we'll be sat here saying it's 2017, it's the City of Culture year.
I know, it'll all be going on. All be going on.
Now, what else have you, business news now?
Yep, so big story then. So Siemens bosses have welcomed news of a major green energy development on the Humber's South Bank.
Okay.
So this is Dong Energy has signed a memorandum of understanding with Able UK. That's a developer behind a 400 million renewables hub in North Killingham.
Yeah.
And it will see Dong, that is one of the largest offshore wind farm developers, set up an operations centre on the site. So this is another big development in the renewables
I presume
area.
they're keeping their operations in Grimsby, because that's only just really been opened.
Yes.
But also having a centre down there. It is all going at the minute.
It is, definitely.
With
There seems to be
obviously
new announcements all the time.
Well, as I say, we had Westernmost Rough open. We've had the Race Bank announcement. Yeah, it is. It's all go, isn't it?
It is,
Fantastic
definitely.
news. Great job opportunities. Well, that's all we've got time for, Erica. So thank you for coming along on the sofa. In an age of technology, people expect to have a fast and efficient mobile phone network. One East Yorkshire farmer, fed up of poor or non-existent networks, has launched a social media campaign against the phone providers. Erica Barker went to find out what impact it's having on the lives of residents in the East Riding.
Wide open fields, the beautiful East Riding of Yorkshire landscape. But some residents tell us they simply can't get a good enough mobile phone signal. John O'Dixon, a farmer living and working in Sunk Island in Pattrington, says he feels out on a limb.
Most of us are sort of working on our own on these farms, and you know, if let's say we're driving a tractor, hop out of the tractor, you turn an ankle. You know, what sort of mode of communication do we have? You know, if your phone's going to slip in and out of signal all the time. I've had to invest in a signal booster. Around the house it's absolutely fine, but signals won't allow it to sort of pick up unless I'm, you know, sort of 50 metres within the sort of perimeter of the house. After that, it's like no man's land again.
And with all modes of communication vital in this day and age for businesses, Jono says it can have an impact.
You need a piece of information from somebody, perhaps a readjustment of a chemical that we're sort of putting onto the crops. If in doubt, you know, we want to be dialing up our agronomist just to, you know, just to have a sort of heads up as to what's this and what that, and if you can't get a signal, how do you do all these things?
And he is not alone when it comes to the issue affecting day-to-day life, personally and professionally.
Yeah, I'm a builder by trade, so I need to be contactable all the time. I look after 2 estates for the Crown in the area, so I provide a 24-hour cover. If they can't contact me by mobile, then I'm afraid that's what we rely on. I'm also an hour-and-a-half volunteer crewman that relies on getting a text message when there's a job comes in, as well as our paging system, and it's just happened today. Text never came through. I've missed the job. Luckily there's other crew there to take over. Because it's in a rural area, I don't know whether they're concentrating more on the built-up areas to try and get the figures up and get the customers in, but they've got to think of us as well out this way, because, you know, we're all customers at the end of the day. We all pay the same money.
We contacted O2, which was reported to us, but they have failed to reply. On O2's website, we clicked on the live status checker page, putting in the area's postcode. It said the network is currently working fine. but not everyone seems to agree. Erica Barker, Estuary TV.
Now it's over to Dan Kemp for the sports news.
We'll start with news that Hull City have agreed a new sponsorship deal. It's with the North Yorkshire theme park Flamingo Land ahead of the club's first season back in the Championship. Next up, the club will reveal their home strip on Monday and supporters will get the first chance to see Steve Bruce's side wearing it in pre-season friendly action against North Ferriby United at Church Road a week today. One other line of City news is that the club have today received a fourth offer from Norwich City for wide man Robbie Brady. Tomorrow, Grimsby Town play Paul Clement's Derby County at Blundell Park. Earlier in the week, the Mariners beat Cleethorpes Town 4-0, but the Rams will be a different proposition, having narrowly missed out on the Championship playoffs last season. Michael Reddy scored the winner for Grimsby the last time the sides met in the League Cup first round in 05-06. Elsewhere, Scunthorpe United kick off their pre-season tomorrow at Bottisford Town. In Rugby League on Sunday, Hull FC host the Castleford Tigers at the KC Stadium, a side they beat 40 points to 14 back in May, while Hull KR are away to the Salford Red Devils as they look to get back to winning ways after suffering their first defeat in 5 last time out. Meanwhile, reports are suggesting that Robins are interested in signing Wigan Warriors outside back Ian Thornley as coach Chris Chester looks to boost his squad for next season. And Lincolnshire rider Guy Martin has claimed a third successive Southern 100 solo championship after being victorious in the 9-mile lap race around Billown Circuit yesterday evening. Martin finished ahead of Manxman Dan Kneen and Lincolnshire's Ivan Linton on the podium. That's all for now. Don't forget to get in contact with any stories for us. You can call 01472 31 553. And that's all for the sport.
Now, before we go, Erica, you just one quick thing that you wanted to tell us, haven't you, about road rage?
One quick thing. Well, Lincoln tops the table when it comes to road rage. Where do you think Hull came?
Second?
Third. Third on the table, Hull came. And where do you think Grimsby came?
Nowhere.
Nowhere.
There you go.
Wasn't
there
on
you
the
go.
table
Never
when it
mind.
comes to road rage. That's a good thing.
It is, isn't it? We'll look at that next week. That's it. Join us again next week for more news from across the regions. If you have a story for us, go to our Facebook or Twitter pages or email news@estuary.tv or pick up the phone and call us. Until next time, goodbye.
Hello and welcome to Estuary TV's weather. A cloudy start on Saturday, but mainly dry with some sunny spells. Rain is possible through the afternoon and a maximum temperature of 21 degrees. Showers and sunny spells on Sunday.